Welcome to AI Navigator Briefings. I'm Piero. Today I want to talk about a question that more leaders are going to face as AI moves deeper into business operations. Where should intelligence live? For the last 2 years, most of the AI conversation has been about which model is best. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, Grok, open weight and open source models. That question still matters. But it is no longer enough. Once AI starts entering real workflows, leaders need a more mature way to think about it. What work should run in the cloud? What work should run locally? What data should never leave the organization? Which tasks deserve the most powerful model? Which tasks only need a smaller model? And where does human accountability still need to sit? This is where AI fluency starts to become a leadership capability, not just a technical skill. Cloud-based frontier models are extremely powerful. They are useful for complex reasoning, advanced coding, research, strategic analysis, creative exploration, and many high-value tasks. Most serious organizations will use them. But cloud AI also introduces dependency. Access can change, pricing can change, terms can change, regulation can change. A model that works for your team today may not behave the same way tomorrow. That does not mean companies should avoid cloud AI. It means they should avoid building their entire AI operating model on one layer they do not control. That is why local AI is becoming more important. Not because local models replace frontier models, they usually do not, but they give organizations another layer of control. A law firm may not want sensitive client files leaving its environment. A clinic may not want patient data processed through an external cloud workflow. A finance team may want AI support for internal reconciliations, contracts, or board materials without exposing them. A government entity may need AI capability inside strict data boundaries. A field operation may need intelligence where internet access is unreliable. In those cases, your data never leaves is not just a technical feature. It is the reason the system can be trusted. This is the point many leaders need to understand. The future is not cloud versus local. It is knowing what should run where. Some tasks need the power of a frontier model. Some tasks need the control of a local model. Some tasks need a smaller model because the work is repetitive, low risk, or highly structured. And some decisions should not be automated at all. That judgment is becoming part of AI fluency. And there is another reason this matters: cost. As companies move from simple AI chat into AI agents, the economics change. A chatbot may answer one question. An agent may do much more. It may read instructions, search documents, call tools, compare evidence, retry a failed step, summarize results, review its own answer, and then produce the final output. One business request can create many AI interactions behind the scenes. So the useful metric is no longer only cost per token. It is cost per completed task. That is an important shift. A cheap model may become expensive if it needs too many steps to complete the work. A stronger model may sometimes be more economical if it finishes the task reliably with fewer retries. A local model may be the right answer when the task is private, repetitive, or does not require frontier-level reasoning. And a smaller model may be perfectly adequate for classification, extraction, first-pass summaries, simple routing, internal Q&A, or structured document work. This is where leaders need cost judgment. Not every task deserves the most powerful model. Not every task should go to the cloud. Not every workflow should be turned into an agent. The real operating question becomes which model, in which environment, at what cost, with what data, with what level of review, and with whose accountability. This is very different from the early phase of AI adoption. In the early phase, the main question was often, how do we get people using AI? That was useful. But it is not enough for the next phase. The next phase is about designing the operating model around AI. That includes model choice, data boundaries, workflow design, cost controls, human control points, audit trails, governance, and clear ownership. Because once AI enters real work, it stops being just a productivity tool. It becomes part of the way decisions are prepared, shaped, recommended, and sometimes acted upon. That is why human accountability matters. A model can assist, an agent can execute, a workflow can automate. But the organization still needs to know who owns the outcome, Who approved the use case? Who decided the data was appropriate? Who reviewed the output? Who can override the system? Who is accountable if the recommendation is wrong? Without those answers, AI scale creates hidden risk. With those answers, AI becomes easier to trust. This is the leadership shift. AI fluency is no longer just knowing how to prompt, it is knowing how to make better decisions around AI. Which tasks should use cloud AI? Which should run locally? Which can use smaller models? Which need human review? Which should not be automated? And which workflows are worth turning into agents? The companies that mature fastest will not simply use the most powerful model for everything. They will build a more balanced AI operating model. Cloud, where power matters. Local, where control matters. Smaller models, where efficiency matters. Agents, where workflow execution matters. Humans, where accountability matters. That is where AI strategy is moving. Less obsession with one model. More discipline around where intelligence should live, how much it should cost, and who remains accountable for the outcome. This has been AI Navigator Briefings. I'm Piero. If your organization is starting to scale AI and you want to understand where the readiness gaps are, you can check your AI readiness with Athena at Arc One Labs.